sure if this is live or not. We're trying to go live again once more. If it is getting out there and this is live, I am trying to get this set up in the office too with a much stronger internet connection to try out going live and eventually have a wireless mic and camera to be able to go through the shop. But I don't know if this is actually out there and live. It looks like it actually is. Okay, it just popped up. There's a heck of a latency between my broadcast software, which is OBS, and the actual receiving on the internet side. So we'll give it a quick minute. I hope at least one person's going to get in here. Perfect. Thank you, Robert C4839. All right, so kind of the same setup. I got back a little bit ago, installed the same software. If you caught the earlier stream, I'm just testing this stuff out. I've got OBS at my home or office setup now, so I've got a very strong fiber optic connection. I don't even know what camera I'm on right now. Okay, I'm on that one. So right now I'm on a webcam, very similar to the one that was on in the truck earlier. All right, Rich, is this a much better setup? Hopefully, I'm hoping. And I'm hoping the audio is getting through on this one right now. Can you hear me? I'm going to whisper for a minute. If you can hear me, give me a quick thumbs up in the chat, please. If you could not hear that, you just saw my lips moving. I was trying to talk in the microphone. So in the truck, I found out that it was actually connected on the audio on the webcam and not the wireless mic. Although it was plugged in, it was not capturing that. So I just spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out why and the audio was not coming in. But I do believe I'm connected wirelessly through here. All great setup, thumbs up. Okay, so I just wanted to confirm. Roberto C, is the wireless mic working right here? Trying to be quiet in case there's something else catching audio. Give me a 2 in chat if this is working, please. Is it working in the wireless mic? Thank you. I've been trying to play around with this for a while. So here, I'll show you what I got. Is the wireless mic too, because it has other features, but I've got it plugged in right there. I had to connect the USB-C into there. I was trying to use a wireless mic and it wasn't working earlier. So then also, my office is an absolute mess, but here's where I do a lot of my work. The main screen here, that screen, and this screen here. So I also do a lot of video editing on this computer because it's way more powerful. So I can have my CRM software up, which is kind of the topic of this video. Browsers over here for doing Google Street View, measuring, whatever I need to do. So the short topic of this live stream is going to be what CRM software do you guys use, just so we can have a little bit of a topic. I will try to keep an eye on chat here, and I do want to play around. So again, part of what I want to do with this going forward with the channel is be able to not just have out in the field type stuff, product review, demo type things like that. But if we're just doing whatever, I can simply grab the GoPro here, wireless. Well, it's currently tethered with a USB-C, but I do believe I can RSMP, which is RM. I can't even remember. My brain's like wore out today. Remote messaging protocol or something like that. But anyways, you can be disconnected. I have one more piece of software installed, then I can use that. So I can literally grab the GoPro, go throughout the shop, have it connected to my Wi-Fi mesh network, and have good signal. Should work really good, so we can do whatever. And if you guys have any other ideas, let me know. Because right now, if this was set up, I'd literally grab the camera, walk out to the shop, and show you the stuff that I got from BM Direct. Service Titan. I think I've heard of Service Titan before, and I'm wanting to say that was bought out. I'm not sure. Is that a full CRM or is that a lead gen? I thought that was lead gen that was bought out by, like, not Angie's List, but Home Advisor or something. Maybe it was Angie's List and Home Advisor, and I thought maybe it got bought out again. SCS software, is that a, like, so the only ones I'm aware of, I've used Job Nimbus for quite some time, since probably 2017, 2018. Jobber has reached out, wanted me to be an ambassador for them for a while, and I keep telling them, look, I don't want to. I don't find it good that I use another software and promoting another one. Like, well, just try it, you know, use a trial version of it. I just don't want to switch. I've already got too much going on with this. I'm not knocking it. I was just curious what other softwares you guys use. When I started this, it was paper, pen, notepads, and just a chaotic, hot mess. And the CRM stuff, I wouldn't be able to get to where I am without it. So the other piece of software. So here's another cool little thing I can try to actually do here. I'm going to make me pop up again on the screen with the GoPro camera, disappear me here, and share one of my screens on the left here. Except the size is all off here. I don't know why. Let me try to tweak a setting here real quick. It's like the resolution is way off. Trying to see. Let me cancel this. So I got it set to share my screen here, but it's only showing a very small portion. What you're seeing is only half of the screen. I'm going to play around with something real quick while you guys are still here. Doesn't look like it's going to... Oh, that's because that's the other display capture left screen only. Well, I don't know why it's so small, but Roofle, I met them over at the IRE and saw what they had to offer, did a demo with them just a couple days ago, and actually got set up and onboarded to be able to offer live instant roof quotes on the webpage. So that's kind of cool. Looks really promising, and it actually just takes a huge workload off of my shoulders. So I'm going to try that out. Does anyone have any experience or know of Roofle? You can check it out at... I just typed in Roofle, so R-O-F-L-E, just like roof with L-E at the end. And yeah, I couldn't find too much YouTube content on it. Although, who is it? Joe Hoffman was one of the founders of it. I know he's been out there. He did a podcast with Dmitry Lipinski and some other stuff. But I think their software's taken off and is very promising here. What up for Northeast Ohio? Certainteed certified roofer here. All right, I'm not a big fan of Certainteed, but cool, appreciate it. Appreciate you chiming in. Hopefully you get some benefit in the channel. That section we've used has been for decades. I got a cable right here in the way and I can't see my comments. FS from Java. What are the pros and the cons of the software you guys currently use for roofing? One thing I like is having anything be able to, let me make me bigger here, is having everything in the cloud. So I can access it from the cell phone, from a laptop, any of my laptops, any web browser, log in, have everything. There's been days where I'm on vacation, I'm like, shit, I need to find this. So I bring up my software, type in a name, an address, invoice number, estimate number, doesn't matter, email, phone number, and it'll find that customer and has everything you put into there. So notes, anytime you make a phone call from the app, you hit call the customer. When the call is over, it pops up a window and says, you know, you want to leave notes. It just keeps everything nicely organized. Be able to send it off right there, email everything, create the invoices and estimates. I personally love Job Nimbus. I was hoping my brother was going to chime in here. He was on his drive home. So I got most of the software up and going. I do need to work on that last little piece to be able to get the GoPro wireless. I do believe I can actually use my cell phone too, but then it doesn't have really good, like right now, I'm not. I'm going to pull up the GoPro. I'm kind of curious. So one thing I don't like about the GoPro right here is it's really wide angle. So you can actually see a lot. It really needs to be cropped in onto the backdrop here. But I do believe that it's going to have way better, well, maybe not. So when you're using the GoPro, it's got really good stabilization, but I think when you're using it as a webcam or going live, the stabilization must be deactivated. Sorry for the chiming here. One of my accountants' bookkeepers are messaging me about some stuff here. Insurance audit has been a pain in the ass. I'll read all that later. What would be a good time to go live? If I did start up the members only tabs to where people could have special perks and they wanted special Q&A, behind the scenes, special content. If part of it was actually live Q&A, members only, what time, like what day, what time of day, and what time zone are you in? I know it's a lot. I need to have an idea. I'm on Eastern time. So right now, currently, if you're watching this later, it's like 5:35. No, 4:35. So people on the West Coast are probably, I'm sure, still working. I don't know where the majority of the viewers are, what times would work, or what day would work best. You're a sales rep in Florida. I do really roofing and repairs. I have sold deals directly from the knowledge you learn from you. Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate it. So, sorry, I thought that said shingle tomb. No, I appreciate it. So that's what I'm trying to do, is share what I know. I get quite a few comments similar to this, and people are like, even competitors in your hometown are going to learn and undercut you or do this or take your business. I don't look at it like that. If I can't distinguish myself and share what I know at the same time, then I got a problem. So it's not hard to be harder than another roofer. You just got to learn a little bit. Doesn't take much. So that's what I'm here for. If I can help you, I will. I don't claim to be the smartest, though. I'm still learning myself. What was your background? Anything in sales prior to, or anything in roofing prior to? Let's see, did I miss something here? No. So I'm hoping a lot of these comments will actually play back too if I watch this later. Man, there have been some video or some lives where there'd be like 50 to 100 people in on the live, and I know you watch channels probably have hundreds or thousands, but for me, when I was in that 50 to 100 viewers live, I was like, oh my God. But I don't know if it's a timing thing or what. You came from medical sales and then do sales and property management company. So I was in property management company before this. So I've been in roofing since late 90s, 99, 2002. I went full time into roofing. And from there, I was just a laborer. 3 months later, I was a roofer for a few years, kind of doing my own thing on the side. Then went with another guy after the owner passed away. Spent 10 years working for him. And in 2017, started my own thing. So really, 2017 is when I learned like the whole business side of it. I mean, learning how to roof, it didn't take much. And my previous employer, they bragged about, oh, you learned everything from me. No, I learned what not to do from you. That's it. Solely that. Nothing else. How not to treat your guys. When you work for somebody for like 20 years and you've worked for his company for 10 years and you were his right-hand man, and one day you're like, this isn't working, well, this goes on for years, and you finally like, look, we need to talk. I don't have time for this. Then you hand him a letter of resignation and he's looking at it and he pulls right down. I thought you were family. You're nobody to me. Get to work. I'm like, okay, yeah. You just solidified my decision there. Thank you. Made it all that much easier. But really learned a lot from what I know now. So Kiss the Tomb, do you just do sales? Do you own the company? What part of Florida too? Curious. Chicago roofer? Are you in the Windy City? So no roofing background? Should I have a roof on the background? I don't know. Hey, you guys can help tweak the channel here. I don't know. I thought about having a green screen or having little clips play, but I don't want it to be distracting. Arlington Heights. I don't know the little areas there, but I think you might be in the area of another YouTuber. Actually has the same name, Brian, but his channel is like Brian636 or 363 or something like that. Are you familiar with him? He usually cruises around on his crotch rocket and shows the city of Chicago. Without Googling it, I would guess that to be kind of the southwest west area of Chicago. Oh, you had no roofing background. Okay. Well, hopefully what I share here, like finding leaks and roofing terminology, whatever helps you in that process of selling work or finding leaks or what exactly it is that you do. Yeah, Chicago Roofer. Yeah, he's got a pretty good channel. I don't follow him, but every now and then he pops up. I used to be a big sport bike rider back in the day, but his stuff popped up, and I think it was like when a lot of the homelessness stuff or whatever was going on, he would cruise around and just kind of show the areas like, hey, this is what they're not showing you. And it was kind of cool footage. Actually, you know what? Let me just see if I can bring up a window here and see if I can pull it up. I want to say it was 636. Brian underscore 636. I think this is the one I'm thinking of, and I'll put it over here on this other screen. Let's see if I can bring that up here. Nope, not that one. This one. Nope. We'll do webcam and shrink me down here. There we go. Got it figured out now. So that guy's up in your area. Let me scroll through some of his. Let's go to videos. It's still really small. I don't know why it's doing that. Year ago. It's definitely different. Maybe it's been a few years back, but anyway, I think he's up in your area. All right. Oh, you're already looking it up. Yeah, I think he's up in the Chicago area. You might recognize some of the scenes in the backgrounds and whatever. Let's see. Clearwater, St. Pete, Florida. Kiss the Tomb. I had a brother that was down in Florida for a while. He was staying in the Tampa. Well, actually, no, he went all over the place. But I've got a sister and brother-in-law in Tampa area, and he was down there staying with. Actually, he's there now. But I know he did work in the Florida area, just stay busy when he was down there because he hated the winter. And you guys have something called bowl, I believe, like bowl this, bowl that, everywhere. Just tar the shit out of things. I need to set these backgrounds a little bit better. 440. I'm not going to go super long on this because I do have a few things I need to try to get to do. I need to look at a couple of roofs on the way home if they aren't snow covered. One of them's a roof we did a few years ago. They're selling the house, and he called. Home inspector found some chimney caps that need to be put on the terracotta. So I'm going to check that out. Evaluate a roof if I can get on it. It's probably snow covered. And then there's another one, possible leaks, 3 different leaks on this house. I think that's attributed to the temperature and ice dams going on. We actually warmed up a bit. It's about 35 degrees. It's going to warm up next week. So it's about the time when you got anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow on the roofs. They're not super steep. They're probably about a 412, 512. You get the temperatures just right, insulation, ventilation, all these factors and issues, and it melts and freezes and backs up. Usually this time of year. I don't see it so much going into winter. It's more on the tail end of winter. We get those calls that pick up. All right, maybe it's a little bit better time because it seems like some people are coming into the room now onto the live stream. It might just be the time that I started it. Kiss the Tomb. It was 100% help, especially finding leaks when there is no obvious damage in the shingle. Okay. Yeah, so typically, even when I'm on the phone, that's one piece I ask. If the homeowner is calling about a leak, if it's not a roof estimate and it's a leak inspection or something, one of my questions is always, do you know any history on the roof, how old it is? And it's usually going to be in that 4 to 7 to 8 year range, 12-year range, that sweet spot right there. And there's no obvious damage. It's usually nails in the keyway or torn shingles, something like that, unless it's got obvious wind damage. So if you do have any that are really hard to find, if you have attic access, what you can do is you can get up in there. Now that you're going to have to cause damage, but find out where the leak is. If it's not currently raining, have a helper spray it down with water, get in the attic, push up, then you can find where the penetration is and fix it that way too and find it. But be careful, if it's near a valley or an addition, it can really be deceiving on where the water is actually coming in, where you're getting into it. You might poke a hole through something that's not damaged. Crackto Joe, do you have, how long have you been doing CertainTeed? I've put a couple of CertainTeed roofs on. I'm just not a big fan of it. I know I did a testing of shingles about a year ago, and CertainTeed and GAF were like the worst performing when it came to holding on strictly by the nails. like if you're doing a colder weather install and you're not sealing it down, doesn't have a chance to activate, they just flopped off. I could put my leaf blower on them and blow them off. And then when it came to talking with the reps and like, do they have any intention on improving and changing the shingle to a positive, a better performing shingle? He's like, no, we don't need to. And I'm just not a fan of that. Got called out for a leak. Sound nails in the keyways, and the keyways lined up all over the, oh wow. So if you're putting like two shingles together and then right above is another, or not offset far enough, typically that's kind of a homeowner DIY. I actually had one, want to watch what I say because they might watch later. So I had seen this house and I knew that they did it, and I'm trying to like, okay, how do I do this? How do I tell them that it's a really bad install? And they were like, well, such and such knew somebody that was a roofer. I'm like, well, something clearly went wrong, and there's no way I can honestly feel good saying turn this into insurance, because it was, I don't know, maybe some of you guys deal with insurance, but if somebody installs their own roof and it's done absolutely terrible, like literally you just stack shingles vertically up the roof and it's a roof over, this is one of the stops I need to try to get to, so come on, hopefully I didn't hang up on. Looks like I did on accident. I'll call him back. If they botch the install, should insurance pay for it? Let me know what you guys say and think on that. You look like a pro. All right. And I've kind of built up a little bit of a reputation in my own area here where I've had other roofing contractors say, you know, I'm sorry, I can't find this leak, call this guy. And maybe it's just because they'd rather move on to the next buck that's going to guarantee them some money real quick and not want to piss with wasting some time. But I look at it as the approach of, if you can make that person happy, you can find the leak that no one else wants to find. And if you can actually find it relatively quick, they're going to be the next bird dog for you. They're going to go out there and tell their circle of influence, or anytime they're in a Facebook group chat or talking to somebody at church or social circle, they'll be like, call this guy. You know, a lot of my leads now come from this YouTube channel, which is kind of cool. I'm getting paid to make the YouTube content, and it leads to work. So it really sets you apart and makes you kind of an authority. Well, not really an authority, but if somebody goes and they see competitor A and competitor B, and somebody's got hundreds of videos and install and inspections and shows their jobs and things like that, and this guy's got nothing, and you mix that with good reviews, and I don't know, it's worked out really good. Hey, so I appreciate that feedback. That's one thing I was worried about. I am curious, what ear is it in? Do you have a headset on? I'm going to try something. I'm going to take out the other microphone here and see if it'll power on and connect. I was worried about these, that it may be one channel. So this is, you know, doing a podcast, left ear, right ear, something like that. And in editing, I don't think it's going to be a big deal because I can actually copy the track and paste it into both. But I do appreciate that. Chicago roofer. Looks like still only one is connected. Let me see if I can hit link on this. I don't know if the receiver has to be in link mode. I don't know if it's going to connect. Well, when I was in the actual setup of the stream, I had stereo on there. I just think it might be left and right channel on these two to transmit through. I'm going to have to look into that. Get a Shure mic. Well, let me try something real quick. The mic and the audio might go out real quick for a second. I'm going to plug this one back in and see if it sounds any better. You only have one. Let me unplug this real quick. All right, so it looks like it just jumped into that microphone there. I might have to talk a little bit louder because it's only got a 2-foot cord on it. But hopefully that is on stereo now. That was one thing I was worried about. I forgot to ask about it. So it works really good when I'm doing repair work out in the field, because not only is it got the dead cat and it's wireless, the transmitter records audio directly. So if I lose that connection, it's still recording. I can save it in editing, because I've actually lost content due to that. But as far as the mono or one channel, I can simply, in editing, throw it onto 2. Works on both now? Okay. Well, I got to figure that out. Some sort of stereo transmitter. I guess if I can link these ahead of time. Actually, let me try to do that real quick. Transmitter 1 is linked. Let me see if I can link another one real quick. That's louder in your right ear now. But it is coming in them both, though. See something here real quick. I'm trying to see if I'm even getting out there real quick. Trying to see if I'm even getting out there real quick. All right. Yeah, my OBS Studio software is acting a little glitchy. Louder in your right, but it is working in both. Has a weird rumble. That might be the mini split on the wall over there. Let me see if I can turn the gain down just a little bit. Alright, how about right now? If you can hear me now, and then I'm going to stop talking for a minute. So what I did is I turned the gain, the dB, down to -24 until the bars quit moving. They're barely flickering unless I talk. Is that any better on the rumble? Is the rumble gone? Alright. The rumble is gone, it sounds like, from what you're saying, but I'm going to have to get much closer to this microphone down here, or a longer cable. It might just be much quieter because I was talking from a little bit of a distance. I think I just need to get one of the high-dollar boom mics for the office here. Alright, well, I appreciate the help and the feedback on troubleshooting that. So I'm going to have to do a little more research on this, and oh, that's what I was going to try to do. Let me see if I can go into link mode. On here real quick. Power off. Power on. This will boot up and link real quick. I will try it real fast. Any other questions? I need a longer cable. I'm trying to see if I can get these two wireless mics to link, and if I can get both linked and both clipped to me, maybe it'll give the left and right ear audio. I don't know. I'll see how that sounds and works. What I was saying is I probably have to get the shotgun boom mic or something. Shrew mic. S-H-R-U, or yeah, S-H-U-R-E. I have to check into that. Yeah, so I'm on this setting right here, and it says stereo is on, so I don't know why. If it says stereo on here, I would think it would pass through. I'm going to try to go to the receiver settings real quick, or linking settings. See if I can link the other transmitter here. Alright, trying to link these up real quick. looks like they're both linked now. Let me try this once more. I'm going to plug this in. Again, I really do appreciate your guys' help and the feedback. Alright, take it easy. Kiss the tomb. Or kiss the bomb. Why did I say tomb? I don't know. I was thrown off by the shingle tomb. Kiss the bomb. I'm going to lose you in the audio real quick. I'm going to plug this back in. Okay, how about now? If you can hear, if you have a headset on, let me know. Is this the right ear, left ear, or both ears? It doesn't tell me which transmitter this is, 1 or 2. Works only on the right ear. I appreciate the help. Am I in the left ear now? Is this the left ear? If so, I have my stereo working now. I guess it's a simple solution. I could just put 2 of these here. Hey, you jackass over there on the right. It's working on both of them. All right, I want to try one more thing. Now that I know this is a left channel, right channel type thing, if I put one of these back in the dock, if it's going to continue on one ear, because the setting is set to stereo. All right, so TX2 disappeared. So I'm on transmitter 1. Hopefully it's on both ears. Maybe it took a second to switch over. Am I still on one ear? Left ear only. Damn. Okay. Oh, you know what? I have one more thought real quick. I have an idea. The other day when I had this testing, I didn't put a video out, but I was testing it in the Humvee with this same transmitter setup, and that's why I bought this. Let me run out and grab my stereo lapel and plug that into this. That's why I like this, because it actually has an input on the microphone. And I bought it for when I'm in the Humvee, and when I'm in an airplane, you can hear the air traffic control, the intercoms, and everything like that. Sounds like I need a sound technician. I know, I'm just a piece of shit roofer. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab that lapel mic, the stereo lapel mic, and see if that solves it. Which I think I know right where it's at. Hopefully this is transmitting through the wall. If it is, I'll talk real quick. I'm out in the shop to the Humvee now, and it's in the center console here. Yep. If this solves the problem, that'll be simple. Okay, coming back. Did the audio cut out at all? I was trying to talk the whole way to see if this transmitter made it through the wall out there. The transmitter kept working all the way? Okay. The original wireless mic that I bought is the DJI Mic Mini, and it worked great for everything I was doing so far. I've made a couple of videos with it, and some videos I lost because the audio I had at the time wasn't working. But I specifically bought this one because of this one feature. Well, 2 features. It records the audio internally here, but then also it allows me to plug this in. Alright, so I'm hoping if I put that way over there that you guys can hear me in either the right or left ear, both ears. Is the audio working currently on this right here? Still just the left? Damn it. Alright, well, shotgun mic I gotta get. I know this is a stereo microphone. I don't know. Let's see if that links up real quick. Okay. I guess this is a simple solution for right now. Hopefully it's working. Last time I'm going to test and try this because you guys have been dealing with me trying to figure this out. Chicago Roofer, is it still just one ear, or is it coming in both? The reason I ask, even though I know you said a minute ago it was both, is that was in its dock and it was not connected while in a stream, while it connected to the computer. If I pull out the other and hand it to somebody. Chat got answer. Audio in both ears. It's in both now? Okay. Well, until I order a better mic for here at the shop, I'm just going to have to remember to put 2 of these on. Chat says turn on mono. Oh. I guess that would make sense if you have a stereo microphone like this right here. You're picking up a left and a right into this. So what I think you're saying that chat is saying is turn stereo off on there, and then it will take the single channel and broadcast on both. That's a good thought. So let me try that. Actually, this is probably true stereo if I put them out like this. Let me ditch this one real quick. I'm going to disconnect the audio receiver so I can... Should be back on there. It automatically switched over to my backup mic. So let me try to confirm settings. Relink, cancel. No, I just go back to the settings. Am I not? I'm trying to figure out the setting part here real quick. Force the left channel to play in both ears. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you looking that up and trying to help figure this out. Stereo. Stereo. Mono. Stereo gives me TX left, TX2 right. Ah, okay. Hopefully you can see that right there. Which camera am I on? I'm on that one right there. I don't know if it's going to focus. Anyway, if I change the stereo to mono, safety tracks, it says M and then S, TX1, RX, left and right, stereo, mono. Let's try this one right here. Any audio? It's still getting audio somewhere. Okay, it's back on here. I'm trying to be quiet. I can see the bars move. Okay. All right, how's that right there? Works? Okay, so... I'm going to whisper quietly into this one so nothing else is picking up noise. Is it in both ears currently, left and right? Thank you. Appreciate that, Chicago Roofer. I'm curious. I'm going to do something. I just figured I'd type in Chicago roofer, and it comes up with a ton of roofers. I was going to give you a shout out. Somebody the other day, I commented and be like, hey, are you in Texas or New Jersey? He's like, how'd you know? I was like, well, I just took your Google name and your business and searched it. I don't see chat for a second. I'll be right back. Chicago roofer. I am your 2,000th 291st subscriber, I think. And notify all videos. Checking out your page here real quick. Your company story. I like that. Roof leak in the winter. Shorts, videos. All right, so I couldn't quite find you on there, but I found you here. Now if I can just figure out how to get... All right, let's shrink me down on this one here. Sorry, I'm not used to this flipping cameras around. I'll definitely check out your channel here a little later this evening. Oh, this one caught my eye. I lost $20,000 on this roof because I tried to help. That never sounds good. You got told you better make more videos yesterday? Yeah, the last one was 7 months ago. I know what you mean. It can be kind of hard. There was times where I would go weeks, sometimes maybe even a couple months, and then I'd try to keep a little consistency with it. And that's honestly when I started seeing some growth to the channel. But not just throwing content. It's got to be relevant, something people are going to learn from or find beneficial. Oh, did you see the fight between Dimitri and the other dude that kind of had some beef back and forth? I'm guessing that's you in the videos, in the pictures, the thumbnail. Yeah, you know, there's my worst story. Well, it's not really even a bad story, it just sucks. So we did a roof, it's probably been 5-6 years ago. Put on an Owens Corning roof. Everything was good. It was a modular home. 2 or 3 years go by, they call me and said, hey, we got a really bad roof leak. I'm like, okay, it's middle of winter. What's going on? She's like, it's leaking. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop everything I'm doing. I'll come by, but it was almost dark. So I went the next day, show up. They're out in the country, and there's, I'm not kidding, a 7-foot drift up in front of their house. And I already have an idea what this is. And she's like, yeah, the ceiling just dropped. I go inside, drywall everywhere fell. I was like, I don't think it's a roof issue. She's like, yeah, the snow was over the house. It had strong winds, snow that day. What was going on was it's hitting the house and building up a drift and actually blew snow into their little cavity attic area, which was like a vaulted ceiling. And once it warmed up, it just melted and dropped the ceiling. They were really cool. Filed an insurance claim, covered the issues, but when her father-in-law was out there, he's like, oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this. Little piece of edge metal didn't line up right. I was like, look, I'll take care of it. No big deal. Oh, you'll do it? Yeah, all right. So then they kept digging into it, and the father-in-law kept finding all these issues. Like, oh my God, what if this is what I'm seeing here, what'd they do that we can't see? So I thought about it for a couple of days, and I was like, look, call the lady up. I can do one of two things. I'll write you a check for everything that you paid for, and we part ways, or we will tear the roof off at no cost to you and put it back on, provided you your husband, and your father-in-law are all going to be here. Maybe it was, I can't remember who the father-in-law was, what side, but all three of them needed to be there while we did the job. She's like, you'd really do it? I was like, yeah, you know, my reputation is more important. So it was all set up to do. The day we showed up on Saturday, his friend was over. And if they're that good, they couldn't get to it this quick. They'd be backed up 6 months or something. Yeah, kind of true, but what day is it? Saturday. Saturday and Sunday are family day. We try not to work on the weekends. And we're here doing this. In the end, I spent $7,000 out of my pocket. Not 20, but 7 grand out of my pocket. It was a smaller house, a little modular home. Every step of the way, I took a lot of photos, showed the tear off, show the decking, show the new shingles and everything going down. At the end, she's like, look, this really turned out worse than I thought it was. Nothing was bad. I was like, you know, whatever. The next day, check my email, Google notification, 5-star review. And it wasn't like, oh, all this stuff, and they replaced my roof for free. It wasn't anything like I was just great quality contractor. I'm like, okay, you know, how many people is that going to reach? Because I've seen other contractors that don't do little things like that, even though it's not really their fault, and then it just is a bad PR. So yeah, it does suck. So even though it did cost me 7 grand, how many people are they telling about me that leads to work? So it does suck. But I know contractors personally that do not do that, and then it catches up to them real fast. I'm looking more at the end game, the long term. What can I build this into? And it's not just a paycheck or a payday now. The brand and the trust people are willing to pay for it. It's really hard, and sometimes I still struggle with that. I'm like, okay, I want to drop the price. I want to get this job. And I'm like, if I drop my price and I'm losing money, I cannot do it. Unless it's somebody I know, like a family member or something, or somebody really in need. Because we do a lot. I do a lot of repair work. Actually, I've not made 1 penny since November 8th was my last paycheck. My last day I got paid for anything. And my burn is about $10,000 a month. I'm a small company, so that's really not bad. It's still my salary and overhead and everything to keep the company running. So the first $100,000+ $120,000 a year just before I start making a profit. But if you can build up that brand though, and you find the right market and the right people, you know, do you want to spin your wheels and do a ton of work to barely make a profit? Or would you rather build the brand where people are willing to pay for it and you're making much larger profit margins? And if you can have good quality control and oversee the jobs and the contractors you're using, build up a good relationship, make sure things are good, really good checks and balances, you can trust them and, you know, keep an eye on it. Don't let them just go off and do a month's worth of work. Every job we do, when I go pull the job, I inspect stuff. I check a little bit here and there. If there's issues, correct it, let them know, hey, we can't do this. And that's worked out really good. Then the amount of word that gets out about wanting it done right, you're able to start charging more. It's already 5:13, wow. Will be another video. You gonna post one? I'll be looking for it. How long have you been on YouTube? Ah, I see you got a short of the DeWalt nailer. It's a paperweight in my office now. Chicago Roofer, was that you or was that somebody else up in the beginning of this that was new into sales? I'm scrubbing up real quick. Kiss the Tomb. Okay, that was Kiss the Bomb. I did it again. Kiss the Bomb was a sales rep that's learned a lot. How long have you been roofing, Chicago Roofer? And how long ago did you start the YouTube channel or in charge of it? $2011 for YouTube or for roofing? And is it your company or you work for them? Okay. If you stick with YouTube, you ought to be able to do really good. It takes a while. I think I started the YouTube channel here, Grand Roofing. I mean, my first channel was in like, when YouTube was new, before subscribers even existed. Never really did much with it, but I still use that channel. As far as this channel, it was 2017, 2018, really started putting content out when I really started working with it and trying to keep content coming on somewhat regular occasions when it started growing to where I get a lot of business from it. And I'm in a small town of Kokomo of like population of 50,000. So if you're in a city, I would guess probably what, 2 million in Chicago in the suburb area. There ought to be a lot of people that find you once the channel gets out there. It was weird. Right before IRE, I was actually doing a couple inspections and on my way to another one, and I'm at a red light and I hear a beep and I look over and the guy's going like this, motioning, roll the window down. So I pull the window down. He's like, "Oh my God, I follow you on YouTube. What are you doing in Kokomo?" I was like, "I live here." And it was just, that's happened 2 or 3 times in my hometown, just people seeing me. The first time was Halloween time, trick-or-treating. We were at a trunk or treat, and this guy's like, "Hey, you're that roofer on YouTube." My wife was with me. She just got this shit-eating grin like, oh. But then going to IRE, man, I get on the plane, people recognize me. Of course, you're dealing with a lot of roofers focusing on one area, but I got stopped quite a bit at IRE. People like, "Dude, I've learned so much. I follow you, this and that, and if it helps, great, that's what I'm doing." Thank you. What'd they say? When I did the content, I got a crap load of people referring me, random people. So people recognize you in the Chicago area then? So that's really good. 2,300-ish subscribers. I don't have my other software on this machine like I do at home, but it will tell me like how many views the channel's got, metrics on it like that, but I don't see. They got rid of the home button. Yeah, I see home, video, shorts, live, and playlist. I'm trying to take a slightly different approach, not so much like media like Dimitri does with roofing insights, but just roof related, whether it's products, and I don't know. I really don't know. I want some guidance on the channel and the viewers in the comments of which way they like. Do they like a little of everything, focus on one thing or the other? Oh, real quick. Right here, Luminail. Check that out. That is a pretty sweet looking company. I'm getting ready to order some nails from them. I've got a single coil I flew back from IRE with to test out. It's pretty cool. Like a powder coated nail, not going to rust, has corrosion resistance to it. Bright orange is a marketing standpoint. You can kind of show homeowners like, look, when the nails drop, you're going to be able to see it. I think it's kind of cool. What CRM you use? What CRM do I use? Is JobNimbus. JobNimbus is what I love. I've started with that in the early days. I've got all my stuff in there, and that's what I'm probably going to just stick with. What do you use? There's a couple of videos years back on my channel that I've done of like how to measure roofs with Google Maps, Roof Snap software, just a little bit of stuff, nothing crazy. Actually, the Google Map one, Google Maps, let me bring that up right here. Boop. Let me do something here real quick. I'm going to find a random little place here. Just trying to find a random roof. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've got a random roof here on the screen. I got to figure out why the resolution's not right on that. It's not looking right. I'm only seeing part of the page, but basically if you bring up any Google Map address, and you can see this, you can do this in real time. This is how I've done this for like 7 years. If you take your cursor anywhere on the map and you put it right near the corner of that property, you can right click and go to measure distance. And I made a video on this years back, did decent. So I'm just gonna go over the shingle portion of this roof right here. Just kind of go on the outline of this. It doesn't have to be perfect, it'll get you a really rough idea. And drag it to there. That'll tell you, it's not going to show it because it's too far down on the screen. Basically, a window pops up and it says, let me see if I can show you on this camera view. Right there. I don't know why it's not showing me that far onto the screen, but basically I'm going to just pull you in right here. So it shows this little screen right down here, and it gives you the total area and the distance, both in feet and meters. So then you can simply take that and use an equation that you got a little cheat sheet and measure for the account of the pitch. So that's just a 2D image, but some of my laptops, this one may have it here. This is an old laptop I've got. Let me see if it's on here. Yeah. So right here, I would keep these little cheat sheets so I didn't have to remember it on the actual laptop. So when I'm out in the field doing this, you could simply take that dimension that you've measured on Google Maps, literally takes seconds to do, plug it into that equation, see if it was a 12-12 pitch. You're like, well, how do I find that out? So close that, you go back to this property. If you click the address, man, I gotta find out the resolution on that. You click on that address, you can click on this right up here, and it is now a street view. You can pan around, and that is the house I was looking at right there. There's the gable in the front. You won't be able to see the back, but you can look at this now, and just looking at that gable, be like, okay, well, this distance, it's probably a 512 pitch. You could drive down the road down here. By clicking this, you can get an idea. Okay, there's no chimneys down here. Let's go down this road here. How many pipe boots? No. Oh my God, there's a flat section back here. It may be obscured by the trees. This doesn't take long at all. I've done a lot of remote roof estimates like this. You can see a little detached gazebo. There's the rubber flat. It's got EPDM. There's a chimney, some aluminum counter flash. There's a pipe boot right here. Actually, it's out of view. The pipe boot right there. A lot of information you can get from it. You can go back to the original, but anywhere you go, mainly busier roads and metro areas. Like for example, right here, you can see more dates right here on the screen. Click that. If you have other dates, you can't see this because my resolution is off. But again, let me switch cameras. Let me bring in, hide me there, bring this one up and shrink me down. There we go. So now I can bring this camera in a little bit closer here. You can see right down here, all these different dates. So I've been able to actually tell a homeowner, look, I know your roof was replaced, say, after 2013. So if we click 2013, look at that. It's got cedar shake up there. Damn, look at that. I grew up actually not far from that house. So then you can go to 2015, still cedar shake. 2018, oh, it's got a new roof. So from 2015 to 2018, I can confidently say, right here, this roof was replaced in that time zone. Like you can still see on the back of the house back here, the gazebo's got cedar shake. So it must have been at least 2 years later before they did that, 2019, at least 1 year. And then it was happily for sale. A lot of information you can get from Google Street View like this. All right, well, enough of that. You can just get a lot of good information from Google Street View, Google Maps like that. They've been constantly adding to it. Google Earth. I've seen Google Earth. I still think the same database, just the way their software pulls the information in. All right, it's like 5:30. I'm probably going to wind down here in a minute and go get these couple stops on my way home done. Contractor Cloud and GHL. I've never heard of that. Chicago Roofer. So part of the original reason I had this up was the other Roofle software. I just wanted to ask if has anyone heard on that? There may have been new people in the room since then. This one right here, Roofle. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna play around with this real quick when you guys are here. I need to figure this out because half of that screen is hidden. You can't see the other half of the screen when I'm doing screen capture. I'm gonna go into the settings real quick here. Oh, wrong screen. That's not what I want. That is not what I want. That is what I want, but it doesn't show up all the way. Capture cursor, force SDR. Ah, okay. I see what's going on. Shrink this way down, then pull it up. There we go. I'm figuring it out. Now, we're good. And I can actually shrink that down to not show some of my home bar and web address. There we go. So it's not a perfect setup, but at least you can see me a little bit better here. Because sometimes I don't want like IP addresses to show. And bring me down here. There we go. All right, I think we're better there. Now I can show the Google Street View a little bit better. There we go. Now it's all showing up good. $2D. There we go. Perfect. Oh, look at this house right here. Where are you, salesman? At 1501 West Jefferson. We got a tarp on the roof. It looks like they're going over the top center and everything. Let's just see what goes on here. Let's click on that. That's a Casa de la Bruja. Let's zoom back to where you can see that section. And show more dates. That's October 25, July 24, 2019. 2019, 18, 2015, 13. It must be a really old satellite image. 2007. I don't see the tarp up there at all. Use Bing Maps in conjunction with Google. So I'm not the only roofing contractor that uses Google Earth, Google Maps, Google technology in general then. I imagine there's probably a lot of you. One other thing I found, if you've got a home and it's kind of obscured by trees, I've seen Eagle View and a couple other pieces of software miss complete sections. So something you can do sometimes is go to 3D view. Sometimes it just does like a synthetic 3D view, but true 3D, you can actually see under the trees sometimes. There's new orthomosaic software that they're employing where you can actually get good images where it's straight 2D, but if you go to 3D, you'll be able to see pierce under it a section that might be obscured. So if you're seeing a property or contractor, you're trying to estimate something or get a visual, maybe it's far away, don't forget to hit 3D view because you can sometimes pan around and see what's not normally visible. All right, take it easy, Chicago Roofer. I appreciate you helping me find that mono setting on the receiver there to force it into both channels. That'll save me some post-editing in the future, as well as the annoyance of just one speaker. There's nothing worse when I've got my headset on late at night and I'm listening to stuff and I want to watch the cops, chasing people down, big gun guy, whatever. and then all of a sudden you hear something in one ear, like, what the hell just happened? It's really annoying. So thank you, appreciate it. NRP 90 or 1991. Actually, let me just test that out real quick. So like right here, this 1424, you can see part of the roof is covered. If I go into 3D, it's doing it a little bit. Let me try to rotate this. Yeah, you can see under here a little bit, but usually when you've got a higher up structure, like a high tree or a multi-story building, and you go to 3D, you can see that a little bit better. Let me see if I can just kind of pan around and see if I see anything else that might be a good example, like right here. So right here on this one, this garage, if I go up into satellite view by taking that off, go into 2D, there you go. That's a good example right there. So looking down on this, you see the house, you see something's obscured right here. But if you go into just dragging it, it pops up a little bit too. But 3D really gets down in there a little bit better. Just something to point out. In my early days, I would just, somebody call an hour away, jump in the truck, drive an hour. Now it's like, okay, what can I do remotely? And then I also wouldn't rush to get there right away. As long as you make quick communications big, but then I would there was a while where I'd be like, okay, we're probably 3 days before I can get an inspection, which is fine because chances are you're going to get a couple more calls in those next 2 days that you can set up in the same town or near that. It was just getting ridiculous, the amount of diesel I was spending and time driving. So yeah, that's one thing I wish you could do is change the satellite view, the time the imagery was taken, because a lot of the times it's going to be with green foliage. The deciduous trees still have full green growth on them. And Nearmap is really good. It's an Australian company that took airplanes and high-res pods to gather the data. You usually can find winter dates where you don't have this stuff covered with trees. And actually there's a company that is supposed to be launching a drone digital imagery AI database I want to work with. And they're wanting to launch it, but I'm like, look, if you guys are going to launch this, you really need to launch it before the spring because everything's going to start growing and I can start sending the drone down these paths and picking up this high-res imagery with no leaves in the trees. So I've got my Part 107. That's a Part 108 is new, what the FAA is working on. It's going to be unmanned autonomous drones, which is going to be nice. No longer do you need to have it visually in sight or have somebody with your crew be able to see it. You can launch it autonomously. And with ADS-B and everything out now, what they're able to do is actually, right now, drones have the lowest of the lowest and hot air balloons have the highest of the priority. That a Part 108 autonomous drone flying on a mission will actually have priority over some manned vehicles like helicopters and things like that. I'm like, really? So that's going to be kind of cool. Google Earth and change it to, okay, you can on Google Earth. Yeah, I don't use Google Earth. I definitely have to play with that. Google is usually my go-to, but I'll definitely try that. Okay, so I have a question. Some of your guys' names in my chat window here popping up, like I'm not actually watching in software. I just brought up another window and I'm in YouTube. Here, I'll actually just bring it over here real quick. So what is these little, I don't even know. They're like little crowns and numbers on them. I'm guessing it's, I don't know. Some have crown number 2, crown number 3. Anyone have an idea what that is? Because I don't know. I don't remember seeing it. I don't know. Oh, here's somebody popped up. Kevin Johnson 940. It's got a number 1. So I wonder if maybe that's like whoever's in the room that is in most often subscribed and comments maybe. Maybe you're the #1 commenter. Okay, so I just clicked on you, Kevin Johnson, and it come up with a crown #2 and a crown #3, which is Chicago Roofer. Rich Smith, Robert, NRP. I don't know if this is just the people in the order that they're in the room. Interesting. Oh, it says top fans. I don't know. All right, so takeaways for me is I'm gonna get Google Earth on my machines, the laptops that I keep in the truck, and want some feedback from you guys as far as what way do you want to see the channel go? Do you find benefit in the members only content or the members pages? Yeah, it must be who's posted the most in this actual stream here, because you just took #1 crown. And Chicago Roofer was commenting a lot, and he's at #3 now. So yeah, that's kind of fun. Whoever comments the most. So let's see who's currently in, got #2. Okay. Kevin was #2 and his became #1 now. Huh, that's something new. I haven't been on any live streams lately, but I'll definitely be paying attention to that later. They're always making little tweaks and things. I heard there's new features in the videos. Maybe it's live streams. I'm just going to look real quick down here. I got thumbs ups, thumbs down, share, save, clip, report, live chat. I don't know. All right. I'm going to have to get going. I'm going to lose light, and I got to look at a couple of these roofs. I don't know if I can figure out how to shut this OBS software down. Oh, there's a stop streaming there, and then I have an end on this one. I don't think there's anything here I can't show. Basically, you got a view like this. That is the YouTube Studio streaming software, like to see how many are in the room, whatever. It's currently only 2 people, and like the chat. But then I also have OBS Studio software, which looks like this, that I can kind of control all the views from, like behind the scenes, and it just RSMP or RSTMP or whatever that is to it. All right, I appreciate you guys chiming in, helping me. A few of the comments that helped me get the audio kind of tweak worked out. I still plan on getting a little boom mic, so if I don't have to go through these little things, getting things turned on and out and hooked up, and use this more for airplanes, Humvee, and repair work. And if you guys got any ideas for videos, specifically testing material, testing software, products, whatever, let me know. That's kind of something I want to do more of this year. All right, appreciate it. You guys have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.